All right, we're talking about being canceled today. All right, bro, hop up for a hot minute. Can you give him a microphone? No, a stick one. He can get a stick one. Yeah. All right. So listen. The other day, you volunteered on day one, right? It was. Day one, right? And you asked.
Yeah.
I asked you to do. What did I ask you to do?
There were six. I mean, there was gonna be four volunteers, and you basically asked us to say, me and another person, choose who was American and who was American Indian and who was American
Yeah.
Asian.
Okay.
and
Who was a
Asian
U.S.
Asian.
citizen? Right. Who was an international student and who wasn't? Right. Okay. And you said.
I think if I said, don't quote me on this, but I think I said you're basically asking us to be the best racist
Yeah.
we can.
Right.
Or something to that
You're asking
effect.
us to be a racist and to get canceled.
Or who
The
can
best
be the best
racist.
racist?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And to get canceled. We talked about this. Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
All right. So listen. And then someone asked you asked how many people have been canceled in here?
Yeah.
All
that
right.
was me.
So listen. Let me show you. You can have a seat just for a second, all right? Well, basically, first off, let me just ask you really fast, like, what were you thinking when you asked the question about, like, I don't know, how many people have been canceled? Like, the whole thing, like, what were you thinking?
Well, my judgment's obviously different because I'm from India. So the first thing I realized when I came here is I can't be myself because I'd get thrown out
And
very
being
quickly.
yourself means...
Um,
Wait, hang on. Being racist? Yeah.
no, being blunt. Okay, clarification. A
Yeah.
lot of things in India might be considered normal, but over here is considered
Okay.
offensive.
And a lot of things here would be normal, and in
So-
India would be offensive. Yeah,
I
it's
mean, I
all over
presume
the
so,
world.
Yeah. So it's a cultural difference. But because I'm not at home anymore, I sort of had to
You
tweak
you have to
myself.
learn. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So that's
pretty
part of
much.
what today's class is about. So here, go to the next slide. So we've got just in 119. So we've got about 2,000 videos, over 2,000, about 1,000 hours of content up on YouTube, close to 500 million views from all over the world. About half from the U.S., half from outside, and attempts to cancel me. Nobody in class has ever been canceled. So first off, nobody. All the volunteers, no one has ever been canceled. Maybe by their friends or something. Maybe we had a student that was canceled by their parents because they said something that their parent thought was really stupid and thought, like, how can you not answer that question? Like, what kind of child did I raise? So they got canceled by their parents. But, and probably deservedly so, because they should have had an answer to the question. So I was, But the attempts to cancel me, there have been 3. And obviously I'm here, so all 3 failed, right? And yeah. Anyway, so I wanted to let you know that. No one's ever been canceled in the class. Yeah, it's good to know. Yeah, and that's kind of the nature of what we're doing here.
I'd rather
You
not
won't
be
be
the
the
first.
first.
Though.
No, you won't be the first. Yeah. Well, you just said. No, I guess you didn't say you were racist. I implied that. All right. You're good. No, I'm just kidding. You're all good. All right. Thanks, Moon. All right. How about the 4 volunteers? Can we have our 4 today's volunteers? Yeah, right there. Yeah. Can you? You can go to the next slide. Why don't you introduce yourselves? Hey, wait. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, just push it up.
My name's Michael. I'm a second year. I major in telecommunications.
Hold it close.
And I'm from Delaware County, Pennsylvania.
You say Delco? Dude, and what else did you
Yeah, I
you
say
wrote
Delco.
something else in the volunteer sheet.
It's probably the fact that I live in Delaware now. But
No,
I'm
but no, that
Cleveland,
you're really
so
into
that's how-
Legos.
Oh yeah. That's
Like
it,
really into
that's it.
Legos? What
Yes.
makes you into
Yes, I am.
Legos?
Probably the fact that I've been doing it since I was in 3rd grade. So I started off from really little, and I started doing Titanic. I did
Yeah?
Eiffel Tower, put lights in it
Dude,
and all that.
I got something for you. Where's that box at that I gave you? Oh, there it is. Dude, I have a gift for you. It's a gift, but it's actually a job. You have to do it, but you can have it. It's a Lego set. So, listen, this is from Samsung. This is the Samsung University. So I gave a talk there last June, and it's right outside of Seoul. And they gave me the Lego set, and I thought, I gotta wait and give this to somebody. And you're the first person I met who's into Lego, so you gotta put it together before the end of the semester and take a photo of it. All right? All right.
I got you. Yes.
Bring it in. So here, I'll put it over here. We'll give it back to G-Dog. It's cool. Yeah. Now, it's Korean, man, so it might, you're going to have to work at it maybe a little bit. I don't know. I guess Legos are universal, so. Yeah. All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
My name's Maya. I'm a 2nd year. I major in crim, and I'm from Queens, New York.
Yeah, that's good. You're Colombian?
Legos too?
You're into Legos? Oh, damn, dog.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can work with him, all right? I only have one set, so I'll get another one. I'll go back. I'm going to Korea in a few
Okay.
weeks, so I'll get it. All right. All right.
I'll be waiting.
And you're part Colombian?
Oh yeah, I'm Colombian and Venezuelan.
Colombian and Venezuelan. Ah, very cool. Where's your family from in Colombia? In Cali?
Cali.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm Zach. I'm a 2nd year actuarial science major, and I'm from like Allentown
All right.
area.
And you do drums? You do drumline?
Yeah, I'm in the
Yeah?
blue band
Ah, very
drumline.
cool. All right. No, very cool, actually. All right. Damn.
All right, my name's Niobe. I'm a 2nd year majoring in electrical engineering, and I was from Taiwan.
And then you moved to the U.S. when you were, what,
Oh,
12
yeah.
or something?
10. I moved to California when I was 10, and then when I was 12, I moved to Downingtown.
It's Niobe with a B, as in boy. Okay.
With a B.
All right.
Yeah.
So listen, you all. Thanks for volunteering. So we're gonna talk about being canceled. You all know what being canceled is, right? Okay. How often do you think about this? Being canceled. Anybody can take it. Whoever has to.
Like me
Yep.
personally getting canceled.
Often?
Often. Yeah. I'm not
Whoa.
gonna lie, yeah.
Are you thinking about it right now?
Like, am I gonna get canceled right now? No. I wouldn't think like get canceled for like saying slurs or something like that. But I would say like sometimes my friend group and I, like our group chat, if it got exposed, it might be like a little too much.
Okay, now I'm curious. All right. We're all curious, actually, but that's all right. Okay. Okay, so cool. How about this particular question I'd like everyone to answer. How often do you think about it?
I mean, probably with like a lot of political speakers coming to our campus for the election in the last like 6 months, I thought that is an opportunity for a lot more people to get canceled. And then also I thought, well, obviously I'm speaking to hundreds and thousands of people right now, so that's also an opportunity to get canceled. But I don't think there's anything I should get canceled for. So, but it could still happen. You know, someone could disagree with me that much.
Okay.
I think about it pretty often, especially being on like social media, what you say
Uh-huh.
in comment sections. After I started learning about what a digital footprint is, I started like being really mindful about what I say.
Mindful about things you have said in the past that are still out
Yes,
there.
all the time. So like, cause you know, when you're a kid,
Yeah.
you say things, so you think edgy humor is funny. Then you grow up and you have certain ideologies that don't coincide with that.
Uh-huh.
So
All right. All right. So you
Yeah.
think about it a lot. Okay.
yes.
I think about it all the time, especially now too, because with my friends I would joke around, and it's not like I'm being racist.
That's what. By the way, Naomi,
Okay, that
that's,
sounds wrong.
that's what everybody
Yeah.
said. I'm not racist, but don't look at my friend group chat. Holy shit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. No, go ahead. But you're also Taiwanese, right? Do you ever like? Do you ever? Are you engaged in social media about Taiwan at all?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, a little bit.
But it would just be
and
like
yeah,
1 billion people in China who cancel you, so that wouldn't be a real big deal.
Yeah, just 1 billion people, not too many. But yeah, I think about it like all the time because I don't know. I just I guess speak without thinking too much because I think everyone's equal. And
So, okay, so
It's not-
but so here's what I want to know then. So all of you are saying you think about it a lot. Like, dang, man. The crazy thing is, I never think about it. This is much to the the great despair of my wife. But okay, but I grew up in different times. So how do you navigate the terrain of being canceled? How do you navigate it? Like, what do you do to help ensure that, yeah, I'm not canceled? Because it, yeah.
You just, I would just say if you should know like what should be considered cancelable and what's not. So I would say like it's just being.
But wait, but
mindful.
how do you know?
So-
Because this seems to me as it's changing. Wait, hang on. I'm going to ask it. How do you know? How do you know? Let me just start with you. How do you know what's?
Anything offensive, I guess. So anything considered offensive, I feel like that's how I know.
Dude, okay. All right. Dude, you are highly at risk of being canceled, my friend. All right. with that answer. Why do you think I'm saying that to him? He's at risk of being canceled because he answered it that way.
I guess one reason is that like there's always going to be someone who finds like everything offensive. So if you just try to go through life never offending anyone, you're not going to succeed. And so I guess that's sort of how I've started to look at it more recently is like, well, there's probably going to be someone who is really not a fan of what I'm saying, but I can't just walk on eggshells my entire life around every single person.
You can just leave the mic on too. Yeah, what do you think? What else do you think about how he answers the question? No. Maya. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go back to what he was saying. Like, I feel like everybody's sensitive
Yeah.
to different. My bad. I feel like everybody's sensitive to different things. It's really hard to figure out like if I could say this with that person or if I can't say this with that person, because there's some things I feel like, for example, when cancel culture started happening a lot of things like I think Mr. Potato Head and Miss Potato Head got
Oh
canceled
my God.
because of that,
Did
and
they?
it's like it's not gender
Yeah.
neutral or
All right.
something, which is I don't know, like that's a kid's toy. It's just potato heads. If you want to take the female
It's a
hat
piece of
off, you
plastic,
can, like,
actually.
it's a piece
Okay.
of plastic. There's a lot of things can be canceled now. It's just constantly changing more and more. It keeps like, oh, that's bad, that's bad, that's bad.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So how do you navigate it then? Besides, like you said earlier, look, I was teasing you about the group chat thing. Everybody has that, I mean, everyone has that. We make comments to our friends or whatever that we wouldn't make to other people, right? So I swear, I mean, I'm really talented at dropping the perfect F-bombs in different places, but I have taught myself not to do it in here. For a long time, I used to give myself one F-bomb every day. Every class, I just let myself drop an F-bomb, right? F-word, the F-word, right? And then it was once a week. And then it was, 3 times a semester. And now I just hardly ever do it at all. Because I teach myself that, So what do you do besides what you said already?
I just go off of what I already know. Like, I know I don't know. Like, I just go off what I know. Like, if I know a majority of people don't like this, then I don't do it or I don't say it. Then I just go day by day, and I also don't talk to a lot of people. So it's pretty easy for me to just not get canceled.
So, Naomi, do you watch as other people get canceled? Do you watch them get canceled and say like, oh, I can't do that? Or do you calculate what it is, the things that people say and do that get them canceled?
I don't calculate, but I guess just from where I was from, I do see a lot of celebrities getting canceled by China.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chinese government. And yeah. So
So-
I'm sorry.
So that's not a real thing. But how about you yourself, though, in terms of what do you do? How do you navigate the terrain? What do you do to help ensure that you don't get canceled?
If I gotta be honest, I need a friend. Like, usually if I need a friend, yeah. If people there, I'm so sorry. Yeah, usually when I chat with my friends,
Yep.
they would tell me if it's
I
if
got
I'm
ya.
offending them or not, or
Mhm.
if I'm offending a certain group or not.
Okay, so you, like, when you're engaging in social media, but it's a smaller social circle, it's not to the whole world, you sort of rely on other people around you to say, like, hey, whoa, watch that. Do you all have that? Is that similar to all of you? Do you have people in your close social network who tell you? Yeah? Do you have any... So how does this fear, this concern about being canceled shape your online behavior? How's it shape what you do?
I just don't post online.
Yeah?
Don't post anything online.
Uh-huh.
I don't have social media.
Uh-huh.
I don't use it.
So you don't do Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that?
No.
Oh,
I
so
don't.
okay, so for you, you really keep it close. Everything's close.
Yeah.
So for you, it would be one of your friends would have to take something that you said, and which could be very mild, by the way, very, very simply mild. Like, you might say something about Venezuelans and get canceled, and you'd be like, wait, hang on, I'm half Venezuelan. Like, what? That kind of thing. But your friend could post it, and then there would be a problem for you. But mostly, if that doesn't happen, that's not an issue. So, Zach, how about you?
I mean, yeah, I don't post like my opinions on the internet. That's just not something that really crosses my mind, that like I'm gonna put my political opinion or religious belief or anything like that on the internet, because there's just so many people out there that don't have good intentions. They don't want to have a good conversation about it. And so like in a place like this, I'm more open to being honest and sharing my opinions, because I think more people here are willing to hear what others have to say. But on the internet, you can't expect that other people are going to have like genuine good interests.
So you mean in a place like this, you mean in this classroom? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Michael, how about?
I would say, like, at least from being on a shape how I had to be, especially like being here, like knowing that, okay, if I want to graduate and get a good job, I can't say anything overly ridiculous, because they could look into that, they could see your accounts. And also I learned my lesson by getting warnings on Instagram and TikTok, almost taking my account down. So
So it seems to me then, from what I'm hearing from you all, the fear of getting canceled is actually really shaping or controlling. It's putting guide rails up on the web for you. It's like, seems to me, that you're always thinking about it. It's always out there. So you're saying like, hey, I gotta be careful, and that's actually a good thing. You're not out being a lunatic. Any thoughts on that? Do you see it as a good thing? Do you, any of you actually?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to some extent. Like, obviously, when people are scared that if they say something outrageous, they could get in trouble, that's a good thing. You don't want them to think that they're just going to get off scot-free no matter what. But I also think that there's a line where, like, you should, as a society, we should allow people to speak their opinions more often and not want to go after them for that, and have a discussion with them, or even just turn a blind eye rather than go after them and try to get them like fired or something like that.
Okay, because there's a difference between saying something really outrageous and saying something that a small group of people find offensive. And it's like, wait, hang on a second. Like, those are two different worlds. But in the world of offense and being canceled, it doesn't matter. And once it goes, it goes. It doesn't matter what the truth is, right? Do you have a response to that? Or Naomi, do you have a response?
I was gonna say, because I'm scared of being canceled, I couldn't be able to express my feelings as much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't express like anything I want. I can't talk about anything I want.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a fear. Like I'm scared.
So it's just like you're always holding back.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
How is that? Like it just seems so weird to walk through the world always kind of holding back, not being really who you are. How is that?
It's like, I guess, for example, now I feel like I'm a completely different person up here than when I'm with friends. Because I'm scared. Because I'm sure like a lot of people are watching this.
Summer's like shooting like still photos.
Yeah.
The cameras are going. There's people watching from different places in the world.
Yeah.
And people are judging at some level, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's different because people who watch this class, they watch it because they have a certain, they're curious. They want to know actually what you all are thinking. I guarantee there are they all want to know what you're thinking and how you're managing this. Yeah. Do you have a response to that question? Like, what was my question? How's it affect you? No, how is it that you have to censor yourself? How is that for you? Like the Michael that's sitting here is not the Michael that people meet out in the world.
I would say it's like a comfortability thing. Like when you get comfortable with people, you can kind of like show them like who you actually are, not in a bad way, but more so like just getting to know you deeper. But I think like staying more neutral and things like that's what I do. I try and stay more neutral on certain topics because I know how some people are.
So even though you have opinions about them,
Yes.
you're not going to share your opinion.
Yes.
So you're really not going to be honest. You're going to hold back. You're going to be like, do you all feel like that at some level? Like you're not being honest with.
I mean, like, what I was kind of talking about in social media is it's a lot of, like, sound bites and one-liners. So,
Yep.
like, in that situation, people are just going to jump on things here and there. But in a longer form conversation like this, I think even if you completely disagree with somebody, you can still kind of not hate them. You can just see where they're coming from and maybe completely disagree. But so, yeah, I was planning and obviously still am to be honest while I'm up here, but if I had to just give like a one-liner comment on some like political post, then I'm not gonna just like state my belief in one sentence and leave. That causes too much consternation.
Yeah, like I was contacted today by Reuters television asking if I would do an interview on January 6th, and I'm like, nope. Nope. Because I don't know what statement they're going to take out about January 6th. And I have a lot of cool things to say about January 6th that people who support Trump would think like, oh yeah, I agree with that. And I have other things I would say that people who dislike Trump would agree with. So, I would go like this all over the place because I have a lot of things to say, but I don't know what they're going to take. So that's just like, well, why am I going to do that? So, do you have
I was gonna say that, like for example, like going with the politics, I would also be neutral with like a lot of things, not just politics. Like for example, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, oh, I voted Kamala, oh, I voted Trump, because I know half this class might be like, oh, she voted Kamala. The other half might be like, oh, she voted Trump.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. And with everyone, I'm only gonna tell them like neutral, like, oh, I kind of just sit back. But then with my close friends, I will tell them like, oh, I actually support this, or I like to do this, or da 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 da. Because I know like most of the people around me tend to have the same sort of mindset.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I'm pushing on them though. Like they can do whatever they want, but most people around me do have the same mindset as me.
So let me ask you this question: What do you, the four of you, think about people who just put themselves out there, man? They just like they're protesting this and protesting that, and they're throwing their opinions all over social media and everywhere. Like, what do you think about those folks?
I think if you're not doing it in a negative manner, like if you're going to be protesting or you're going to make an account online, like a fan page for whatever president you want, then it's okay. But I feel like there's some people that are kind of annoying. Like, for example, I want to say when the election was happening, I went to El Jefe's and there was these two white girls preaching up and down about Trump and saying how all the Kamala supporters are stupid and everything like that. And I just looked at them. I'd never told them what I was supporting. And then they started like, oh, she's so mad. Like, look at her. She's stupid. I'm like, I don't even tell you what I like. So what do you mean I'm stupid? You don't know if I'm a Trump supporter. You don't know if I'm a Kamala supporter. But they were doing that, and then they kept talking about how everyone is stupid if they're against them. It's just stuff that's negative
so
that I don't like.
So that feels really ignorant.
Yes.
But you probably don't see that very often, right? Especially around here, or do you?
Well, around
I mean, on
here.
one side or the other, because the other side is, if you support Trump, you're an idiot, kind of thing. So you're probably more likely to hear that.
I would
that
say
here.
I've definitely heard that a lot more here than I ever have back home.
Yeah.
So I think it depends where you're at.
Mm-hmm. How about somebody else? What do you think about people that are just throwing their stuff out?
I think it's actually a shocking amount of people who are genuinely convinced that the other side of like the political aisle is just full of all idiots, who they think the people on the other side are all stupid. It's stunning that many people on both sides actually believe that about the other side. They don't see them as intelligent creatures who think a different way. They think, oh, well, they're just all stupid. We're the smart ones. It's mind-numbing to me, but there are a lot of people who genuinely believe that.
Do the three of you agree with him that it's it's like really shocking how many people are like that? Dude, I just want to say, hey, stream people, just recognize that this is the college generation that you think that so many people think have lost their damn minds. This is for random students in class, and most everybody in class is going to agree with what Zach just said. So, Well, okay, what do you think? I'm going to show you an example of me getting canceled, or trying to get canceled. I didn't get canceled. What's the kind of thing do you imagine I would say in this class that would get me canceled?
Probably saying something racist, but
What would be racist, man?
I don't know, like, yeah.
How about like the other day with AJ? Remember the guy from Du Bois?
Yeah.
Remember I was having fun with him, and I'm like, "Oh, you're from Du Bois, okay? Well, this guy, so you're gonna be the racist guy, just having fun with that,
Yeah.
playing around." And somebody on the stream is like, "Yeah, I don't like that." I'm like, "Come on, man! Can we not have a little bit of fun?" How about that?
I mean, I think like that's fine, but I think like I said before, like when you're kind of getting too deep into something where it just becomes completely ignorant. But I think having fun with people is like allowed.
All right.
At least mine.
How about somebody else? What do you imagine I said that got me in hot water?
I was thinking the same thing, like how on the first day you were joking about how like he has a family member in the Klan and like that kind of stuff. I think that's a fine joke, but I could imagine there are people who don't think that's a fine joke.
Yeah. AJ, wait. Where are you at? Dude, how was that for you? All right, that's good. All right. See that? Your family members, they're not like canceling me or anything? We're good? All right. Yeah, you got to read it. You read people. I wouldn't have said that to somebody else. But for me, I'm reading his energy, right? Everybody comes up here, like I get their energy, and I'm like, all right, I know who I can play with and who I can't play with. And sometimes I'll have jokes that come into my mind, and I don't say it because I'm like, it's not gonna go. That's not gonna go. Okay, let me show you what I said. All right. All right. Now you read that, okay? This is just one of many, many different public things. What do you think I was talking about? Because I did say that. What do you think I was talking about?
I really have no clue.
You got any thought?
I'm gonna think about that.
Naomi, do you have any idea what I was referencing there? It was hilarious, by the way. When I said it, it was hilarious. That could give you some kind of clue, but if you read this, okay, let's say you read this. If your parents read it, they're paying a lot of money to send you all here, what would they say?
It'd be like,
You could say it. They'd be like, who is that idiot?
Yeah.
You're taking a class with that idiot? That's probably what they're, if any of them are watching the stream right now, that's what they're saying to themselves. Like, holy shit, this guy's an idiot. Like, I can't believe my kids are taking a class with him.
They'd be shocked, just like I am right now.
Oh, you're shocked?
Yeah.
All right. Zach, do you have any idea what I might have been referencing?
Well, I think there are people who probably read that and thought you were like 100% serious telling white people that everything they do is wrong, but like obviously you weren't saying that. You were joking in some sense about something or other.
Yeah. Okay, so listen. So actually, what I was talking about could have gone up on Fox News, and they would have enjoyed it, right? So here, let me give you the story. Right, go to the next slide. So I was, this was during the pandemic, and somebody had done a story on someone who was doing DEI training, right? DEI, diversity, inclusion, diversity, equity, inclusion, all that. And they were doing it at some big corporation. And they said, they kind of got to the end of their presentation, and they said, listen, to be less white is to be all of these things. I mean, you read it, right? But also to be, more humble and to listen to people, especially black and brown people, and to believe that something, other than whiteness has value, and to break with other white people and break with white solidarity and that kind of thing, right? And I said, so I was talking to a couple students, right, in this. And you can go to the next slide. So I said to them, like, hey, what do you guys think about this? Because now I'm doing what I do in this class, because in my mind I'm thinking, wait, go back really fast. I'm like, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Like, anybody who would go to a corporate training, and say that about white people, it's like, man, you don't even, dude, white guy, just, you want to be a good white person, be less oppressive, less arrogant, stop being so damn arrogant, all that stuff, right? Until a whole room full of white people, y'all got this? Like, stop being white people, basically. Stop being all these things, all right? So for me, I'm thinking, I don't like this stuff, right? That just really rubs me the wrong way. And as a white person, I find it really offensive. And it takes a lot to offend me, because I'm really rarely ever offended by anything, but there are certain things that I just find, come on, that's really, really dumb. Okay? So, next slide. So I'm having a conversation with these guys. They were volunteers, but we were online. This was during COVID. So they're on the screen, I'm on the screen, and I'm asking them, what do they think about it? And they're white. All right? See these two guys? And my recollection was that they didn't want to say that it was really stupid, because Zach, as a white guy, the representative of white people up here, why might it be that you wouldn't want to say, like, I find that really ignorant to say that?
I mean, because it kind of like goes against what exactly is on the quote or the slide before. Like, they were just saying, you stop like being all these things, and for you to object is almost being some of those things in their eyes, and so you don't want to just like walk right into what they just said.
To a trap, right? Because you've grown up as a white person, like people in like other white people in here, in your generation. I mean, you grew up with those kinds of messages a lot, right? It's just like, this is white privilege and white this and white that, and like, oh my God. And you just really you eat a lot of that, right? Day after day, you have?
Yeah, it's not like that bad, but because I've just kind of like turned a blind eye to it, but it's just something like a battle that you just choose not to fight, because like if you look back at the history of a lot of white people's families, they didn't really have a whole lot of privilege. There were some who very much did, but a lot of us didn't. And
especially where you're from, bro. Yeah.
But so it's just a battle you choose not to fight. Like, I'm just kind of thrown in the group with like the rich white slave owners, and that's not my family at all. But I just choose not to fight that battle.
Okay. All right. So what I said to these guys as we went back and forth, and I realized pretty quickly they weren't going to say, Like, oh yeah, now I find that I'm kind of offended by that a little bit. Like they wanted to, I'm sure they both later told me they wanted to, but they were really a little bit reluctant. So I then just started having fun with it. I'm like, hey, by the way, I forget the one guy's name. Is the guy on the left. I said, hey man, have you left your house today? How do we, have you oppressed anyone today? He's like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, well, have you left your house? Because, chances are pretty good at that whole list of things. If you've left your house, you've oppressed somebody. And he's like, yeah, I left my house, but I don't think I have. I don't know. I just went to the sub shop or something like that and came back to my apartment, right? Remember, it was COVID. And the other guy, I'm asking him, like, oh, it's the same thing. And I said, well, have you breathed today? Because if you've breathed, if you're breathing, chances are maybe you've oppressed somebody. You get where we're going here with this, right? And so we all laugh and we're like, yeah, okay. And then we talk about how this is kind of really silly. And they're like, yeah, it is kind of silly. Okay, man. Oh my God. That's like, oh. And then we have a conversation about that, right? Okay. So now go to the next slide. So here's another one of the things. So they are correct. I did say that. Okay. But what happened was, if you take things, one tiny little thing, this is what you all are saying, you take one tiny little thing and you run with it. And then this is the problem. And this is where what you're really kind of dealing with here. Yeah. So, okay. So a thought then I have is, how do you know, how can you ensure that, and I just got tons and tons of email, okay? As you can imagine, right? How can you ensure that when you see something online like that, that you got the full picture? Maya, how about you? How do you know when you see these kinds of things that you really understand what happened and what's going on and the whole picture and the whole thing?
I don't think there is any way to know unless you're there yourself, because a lot of, for example, news articles like to either dramatize things or leave important details out that would tell you what you meant by that statement. Because maybe when you said that, you started laughing and you said, oh, I'm just joking, but the news article's not going to say that.
No, I didn't even have to say I was joking because it was so clear that I was.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the fun we were having.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to the news article, they're going to be like, nope, he's 100% serious, and we're going to paint it out to be that way.
Yeah, because they wanted to take me down,
Mm-hmm.
right? They want to do that. So if somebody wants something, if someone wants to take you down, they're going to take you down somehow, especially if you give them enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you just never really know for real unless you're there yourself.
So when you read things that outrage you, the three of you, the four of you, when you read things that leave you to feel outraged, what do you do with the outrage? Like, what are you learning? What are you hearing here?
A lot of times I try to look at like the comments, if it's something that can be commented on, because I try to see maybe there's more context here that I'm missing, because especially like news companies, all they try to do is get a click. Like Fox News is really good at it. They write the most like clickbait headlines to get you to click on it, and then you realize, all right, well, like, yeah, it was sort of true, but they're obviously just trying to get the click.
Or the article has nothing to do with the headline.
Yeah. So all they want you to do is click on it, and so you see that a lot today. But a lot of times it survives. People don't even find the truth, like the quote about Trump calling Nazis fine people, like that's so easily debunked, but it lasted for like 8 years or however long it's been.
Yeah.
And like if you literally watch the next 5 seconds of the clip, you see that that's not true, but people can't make it that far. They see the one line and it's over.
Yeah.
So we're in big trouble by just reading headlines, but that's where we are.
But Michael, how about you? Like, how do you know? Yeah, I'm with you. Thanks for. How about you? How do you know? Like, how going forward? Like, you think about this example here, right? By the way, I wasn't canceled because it was so outrageous. And by the way, if you would have looked at the comments were all like, "This guy should be fired. This guy should." No one said, "Hey, you ought to look at the whole video and see that, da da da." But it was fine. It blew over. But going forward with this example? Like, how about you? Like, what?
I think that like it's very easy to paint a picture like this, especially like I know a lot of times with social media they really love engagement, and negative engagement is better than positive because when people are enraged by something, you're gonna get more out of it. So I think like it's very easy to do something like this, so that way it gets you more clicks. Kind of just like what everybody else was saying. It's just it's easier.
Yep. It's the enraged stuff, right? It like gets you riled. Naomi, how about you? Like how like going forward, like, you know, we're thinking about this. This is cancel culture. Y'all are going to be involved in this because you're going to see things, and then you're gonna see somebody say something about someone. You're going to hit like, or you're going to say I agree, or no. Go one more. Izzy, one more. Okay, blacken the screen really fast. Okay, Naomi, how about you?
I think I would just do a lot more research, then, because I know there's a lot of fake news, obviously, like that one. And I don't know. I just think people believe things really easily, but based on like, you know, the things that they see. I'm not saying all people. I'm saying like some people, but yeah.
Can I just push back a little bit on this a little bit? But I know what you're saying is I'm going to do more research, right?
Yeah.
And okay, we're all going to say that because you know, I'm going to try to do more research, and I try to look at things very carefully, especially in here, because I never want to throw someone under the bus who I didn't do my research, and then I find out like, oh my God. So, but you really don't have time to do research when you're just hitting like or dislike or whatever the case is. So, what's the lesson?
The lesson here?
Maybe there isn't a lesson that you have in your mind, but there's a lesson somewhere in this to hold. And I don't know what it is, but it really is for all of us in a way to say, what, you know, these warriors, right? Bro, give me one more. Can you go to the next slide? And then we want to hear from Guy. Or you can just unblacken it. So here's the thing that I was looking at. This guy is saying, you know, people people have the idea that people will avoid things that they disagree with, and that, you know, people like want to surround themselves with ideas that they really agree with. But in fact, when people are in the mood to comment, they want to comment on things they disagree with. That's what really drives them to comment. And so you've got these platforms that are set up to just get our blood pressure going, and then wanting to just lash out at the world. And so, you know, we've created these online places where this is very much happening. It's driving engagement, driving clicks. And so for the four of you, you have to say, oh man, how do I not be a victim of this? You know, how do I not do that? You know, earlier, Michael, you said, well, I got to just know what is and is not offensive. But you never know what is and isn't offensive, because something's always offensive to somebody. You know.
I gotta be honest. I might just be the victim of that.
What do you mean?
I would just read a headline and I would just believe it.
Just read a headline and hit dislike? Yeah,
sometimes.
Fire that Sam Richards guy.
Sometimes, yeah. But I do check the comment section. But yeah, like you said, it might be like all the negative things in the comments too.
Yeah. Well, if the emails I got from people are any assessment of that, the emails were basically some version of, you know, you're an asshole and should go die somewhere. I mean, basically, that's just the kind of thing, you know, which is really unfortunate because, Guy, do you have a question?
Yeah, I also just wanted to add something from and I want to hear it from you guys. In behalf of all my callous lizard people, why do you care, right? It's like whether somebody random or just thousands of people it may be like cancels you or not, or just your peers cancel you or not. Like, why do you care? And also you could also speak on the other side. It's like, why do you get offended over something if you read an article? I just want to hear from you guys.
Why would you even read a headline and be offended at all? Like, who cares?
That's true. I don't think I get offended very easily. But okay, but it was me. If I get canceled, wait, what was the question again?
No, like
Why
why would you ever get even offended in any way? Like, why even bother with trying to jump in and cancel somebody? Like, who cares?
Oh no, I don't do that.
So you wouldn't jump on
Oh
anyone?
no.
Yeah.
Not at all. Yeah.
I would say because it's like when emotions are involved, I feel like that's when people start caring. So if I see something and it's trying to paint a bad image of black people, I'm probably going to tend to care about that because that's how people are perceiving me. So I try not to get involved with it because most of the time I don't believe that there's actual people saying that stuff. I feel like it's just bot accounts,
Increasingly, a lot of bot accounts.
Yeah. So I feel like that's kind of what happens, like when you don't want that picture or that image painted of you, so you want to prove a point. You want to prove that you're not like that, but most of the time you're not going to win people over.
So, but how about this, man? It's a growing numbers of bot accounts. So what you're getting angry at is a computer.
Yes.
I mean, think about that. That's like you building a Lego set and then being angry at the Lego set for existing or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can't figure out where that one piece goes, and you're angry at that as opposed to yourself.
That's true. I agree with that.
Yeah, this is the thing, right? This is quite a problem. Can you go? We have a question from the stream, from Stephen from the UK says, when you type a post online, do you read it multiple times to check for spelling errors more? Or checking that you've not said anything that could be jumped on. Like when you guys post something, you don't post anything. Do you guys post things online? Like on Facebook and stuff?
Sometimes, yeah.
Do you check to make sure that it's kosher?
Yeah, I usually do a double take and make sure I read it. But if I start getting negative comments on it, replies, I do take it down.
You'll take it down?
Yeah.
How many negative comments do you have to get for you to take it down?
That depends on the topic.
Uh-huh.
I've gotten a ton before, so that was an indication that not the time to say this. So
okay, so then it's just a matter of hoping it doesn't live forever.
exactly.
Yeah, I got you. Go. We have another question. Matt in Italy is saying, when was the last time you were confronted for something you said? How about that? Do you have an answer? When's the last time you were confronted for something that you said?
I think like freshman year of high school.
That's a long time ago.
My fault.
No,
yeah,
that's all right. Go ahead.
I think so. That's the only time I can remember. That's the main one that I remember.
Well, how
like,
about
stick
something
with me.
recently with your friends in the chat who said, hey, Maya, yeah, you can't say that.
I'm looking at her right now trying to figure out like if she's ever said something to me. No.
Yeah?
No.
Okay, freshman year of high school, though.
Yeah, I think freshman year of high school was the only time someone said like, "Oh, you can't say that," and it was I said the R slur,
Yeah.
and this girl looked at me and was like, "You can't say that," and I said, "What?" Like I grew up saying it. My whole family says it. Everybody says it. I don't know. It's just a way to say like you're dumb to me. And she was like, "No, that's really offensive to people with." Is it autism? Is it
Yeah,
autism
yeah.
or
Well, any
something like
kind
that?
of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like, "That's really offensive," and I was like, "I don't get it. How? Like,
Okay.
that's just how to say dumb." And she said, "No, it's not like that. I have a brother with that." And I said, "Oh, sorry."
So then you didn't say it?
Huh?
Did you train yourself to not say it after that?
I mean, sometimes like it'll kind of come out a little, cause like I said, it's something that's been in my vocabulary for such a long time. But I don't say it with everyone. Like, I'll probably say it like at home, and that's it.
So here's
But I'm
a
not
question,
gonna, like,
though.
I did have TikTok before it, but I wouldn't go online saying that on TikTok.
Okay, but listen. But you know it's offensive to some people. So now I want to just ask you. I'm going to can I put you on the spot for a second?
Well, I'm already here, so.
Yeah, you're already on the spot. All right. So you know it's offensive to some people, but at what point in time do you say, okay, I know it's offensive to some people, so even if I say it in the privacy of my bedroom to my dog, if I call my dog the R word, still it's offensive out there. A preponderance of people have decided that's offensive. So maybe I shouldn't even say it to my dog. Like, when do you get to that?
I don't know. Because I know it's offensive, but she's the only person in my entire life who's ever said anything negative about it. And no one else has ever said, like, oh, that's something you can't say.
Well,
Which I know, like, I meant, like, okay, hold on. I meant, like, in this area, for example, I've never heard anybody in here say, like, oh, you can't say that, or just our slur is a bad slur. I've only heard that on social media.
got you. Yeah, got you.
But, like, I don't know. Like I said, I kind of just guess I watch who I'm with and stuff.
Okay, well, so this is all of us learning right now, right? Because I learn all the time, because there are certain words that I learn not to say, and then I learned I should, like queer is a word that I grew up, you just don't use, you don't say queer. And then queer students started coming to me saying, like, dude, you got to stop with the alphabet thing, you got to start saying queer. Because when you don't say queer, we think you're not really an ally. Like, you don't really get it. You're doing LGBT stuff. It's like, just say queer. And because you're comfortable, so we know that's a signal to us that you're part of the community. Like, you get it. So I'm like, all right, queer.
I didn't know that was a bad thing.
What's that?
I didn't know that was a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't know, but it used to be a bad thing for your parents or my age. Like, you'd never say queer. Okay? So then you have to learn. You're constantly learning, and I'm learning things. It's one point in time. I remember when I watched different words come through that you don't say anymore, and you just learn it. And sometimes people on my team and students are saying, they inform me, like, yeah, don't say that, right? So let me just, by a show of hands, I'm going to do this thing, ready? By a show of hands, how many of you have to raise your hand or don't raise your hand, all right? And can you put the class in one of the big cameras so we can see the hands raised on the side? This is just a test, right? Because I'm with you on this. So by the way, you're not on the spot anymore, right? Are we cool? Do you feel like you're on the spot? Yeah, no, you're not. You're not at all. Okay. So what I want to just by a show of hands, how many of you feel like first off, how many of you do not know what the R word is? There got to be some international students who don't know. Seriously? Bro, you don't know? The R word? Yeah. Can you just say what the R?
This is on live.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Hang on.
Oh, word?
No, hang on. The R word. No, hang on. Here's the problem. No. I don't want to get canceled. I don't want you to get canceled. Whatever. Okay, listen. Let me ask the next question. This is so interesting, right? Because I don't know where the R word is in the lexicon, because there are certain words that I remember people would write in the chat or whatever 15 years ago, the N word. And we'd pop it up on the screen 15 years ago and be like, and I would read the chat. It'd be like, oh, Matt from Italy said, hey, how come I used to be able to say the N word and now I can't do that? And I would just read it and I guess fine, it's not a problem. Now I wouldn't even put it up there, and let alone read it. So things have moved on. That's the nature of these things. They move on. So my question to you, raise your hand or don't raise your hand. How many of you find the R word just pretty highly, like really highly offensive, and you really never want to hear anybody say it, ever? Raise your hands really high. All right. So what? No, hang on. What's that? Yeah, how many of you find the R word really offensive and you don't ever want to hear anybody say it? Raise your hands. I just want to see. That's not that many people, really. I'm surprised, actually. Yeah, I'm surprised. Do you have a sibling or something? Wait, hang on. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah. Yeah, because you were like you have a sibling?
I do. I'm the oldest sister, and my brother is on the autism spectrum.
Uh-huh.
And I've had him my whole life. We're only 15 months apart. So he's a huge part of my life. He's like inspired me to go into disability rights. I want to be a lawyer. And I also work really closely with the deaf community and things like that.
So if someone uses the R word, you're just like,
I
they're
just tell
talking
them,
about
yeah,
your brother.
I just tell them, like, listen, I get why you say it. I understand the context, and it's not meant to offend anybody. I just personally, because it's been used against my brother in front of me, and
Yeah.
big sister protective comes on,
Yeah,
I just
okay.
prefer not to hear it. But if people, with cancel culture, I feel like it's an opportunity for education. So
Okay.
I don't immediately go crazy.
No, I got you. Okay. So what's interesting for you, by the way, is not many people raise their hand. Yeah. It's like, okay. It's really interesting. And then the question becomes, for you, right? Like 20 people raise their hand. And like so 20 people here then play a role in determining language for the rest of the room. It's like, and so then the question is that gives you a lot of power. And like, should you have that power to determine how 700 plus people use particular words? That's a question. It's like, I don't think so. I don't know. This is what the class is. That's what we're working on. Yeah. So, yeah, that's cool. Anyway, by the way, I had the same thing with the R word, but all right, hang on. Yeah. But there are so many words. There are words now that we use and we do that we don't even know are offensive, or who knows? We have no idea. All right, listen, man. Can we first off have a round of applause for everybody?